Yo, what they do, what they do. I'm your host, Aaron Jake Jackson, also known as Marvin Bay. Right now, we on the 35th episode of Behind the Beer podcast, presented by the FGO Network. Right here, we got the homie Tim Hydreams, and we got some homies out here in the background. We got Vinny Virgo. We got, obviously, Rod Ugly Ass right here in the background. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, most definitely. So, for the people that don't know who you are, Tim, introduce yourself.
My name is Tim Coleman, socially known as Hydreams.
Yeah.
Representing the Kiso Production Company. Been out in LA for about 8 years now. Flying out here from Alabama. I've been chasing this, more so not chasing, but working toward this production dream that I've had since a child.
Yeah.
Since being out here. But I'm a photographer, editor, videographer, screen printer, writer, PA, you name it, I probably can do it.
You do everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you mentioned earlier that you from Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
Talk about your upbringing growing up out there.
Oh man,
because that's the South of the South right
man.
there.
Actually, my childhood was split between Tallahassee, Florida, and Mobile, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
My pops is from Alabama. That's where like home is. That's where the family's at.
Yeah.
My mother is Belizean. She's actually a Pan-Africanist activist in Belize, and essentially she was a professor at Florida A&M University, which is why I grew up elementary school in Tallahassee, Florida. And then moms got deported actually when I was a freshman in high school, and that led me, of course, young kid, Florida at the time, age applies, you know what I mean, getting a little bit of trouble, and I moved to Mobile sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much where I found the passion. I've always had a passion for photography, but I was my school photographer.
Was you like part of like the yearbook club?
Yeah,
like
yep. Did all that. I played baseball, but I didn't even. When I originally went into yearbook and photography, I honestly only did it to ride the football games for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they used to hate me, man, for being on the bus with all the cheerleaders and the band girls, riding to every game just because I had the camera. I got filmed. It was something else.
Does that make you appreciate photography a little bit more?
Absolutely. I didn't realize it, honestly, until I went back home on this last trip, how much of an impact shooting in high school played to like what my future was gonna hold.
Yeah.
Because originally I came out of high school, went to Florida A&M University for broadcast journalism, and that was just really with the knowing that I liked cameras, but not really knowing which direction I wanted to take it. At the time, this is the age before Instagram, so like it really wasn't like
no outlets,
no platforms. Like it really wasn't nothing to build on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, Alabama. Okay, to go back to your question, as far as Alabama goes, man, Alabama is home. It is timeless, honestly.
Yeah.
I go home once a year, and every time I go home, I try to shoot, because it really makes me realize, like, even though I'm growing up and the world around me changing, the places that's in my hood still look exactly the same way I did when I walked through those doors at like 13, 14 years old.
They give you that nostalgia feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
From back in the day.
It's like I tell people all the time, the South is like the place that time forgot. People sit outside on their front porches and watch the whole world go by, and to them, in their 4 to 6 block radius, you know what I mean, that is the world. But that keeps them, honestly, sane.
Yeah, because if you notice, like all the grandparents and stuff like that grew up in the South, and even to this day, they like, you know what, this is just it is what it is, and I'm just chilling, and they don't bother nobody.
Nah, I mean, I got my grandmother, Miss Coleman, man, she's 84 years old, and she has a glass-in porch, and everybody knows, man, Miss Coleman been on that porch for years, man. Mm-hmm. And I look at my neighbors and the people around her, and it's like, how are y'all still living? Like, when I went home last time, I asked a lot of my family members about how they felt with the state of the country right now. Yeah. Just because me being 28 years old, my father being in his 50s, my grandmother being in the 80s, it's just different generations. So I asked my grandmother, you know what I mean, like, did you ever expect to see what we're going through right now? You know what I mean? And honestly, she said she was a college student when President Truman. I'm sorry, is it Truman? It's Truman or Roosevelt. I'm not 100% sure, but one of those two was president, and just how now essentially how now to this day she never thought she would be seeing this. You know what I mean? Because one thing that I can say is, like, I wrote an article about it on my website, which is the United States may not have realized that racism exists, but in Alabama, in the South, below the Mason-Dixon line, that shit never went nowhere, man. Like that shit is normal life. And the only thing that happens is it's separate but equal. It's more capitalism rules more fluently there because essentially it is black and white, but really it's poor and rich. You know what I mean? And that poverty line is insane in the South. Coming to LA, it was crazy for me to be like in South Central.
You don't even feel it as much. Versus the South, like
you see it.
Yeah, like in Miami, like we deal with it. It's like a untold history in Miami, right? So it's like one of them type of situations. We know it's there. We know what's up. But I guess we kind of experience more of like the classism as a rich and poor. Would you say that? Because it's like it's flashy, and that's what it is. But when you go more northern, like even probably like Broward, Palm Beach, and a little bit more up of Florida, that's when like, okay, you know that is.
I mean, one thing I can't say is like Florida, Miami got his. I feel like in the last, like, since Basil came there, you know what I mean? Miami to the world has become like a different face.
Yeah.
Me going to Florida A&M University, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
going to
it's
school
way different.
Duval, Vero Beach, and Gifford, Florida, and Fort Pierce, Florida. These brothers just come from a different breed, man.
Yeah.
They come from a different level of poverty. Like, I thought I seen shit growing up in the hood in Pritchard, you know what I mean? But like, it's different. You're right, it's hoods all across America, you know what I mean? But like, it really is the small outskirt towns that really is about it.
And like even Polk County.
Oh,
like,
man.
Oh my God. You know about that Polk County?
But I will say, like I said, I think it's more prevalent in the South because like we ain't got crack houses out here. Or I haven't seen any crack houses in LA that's like, oh, that's a crack house. Like, oh, this one's abandoned. Like, man, I'll show you photos from the crib, man. Yeah, it's all in the streets, but it's more so like, at least you ain't gotta walk out your front door every day and see how poor you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you see kind of like the glitz of like of all worlds.
Exactly. Like, it's just like I said, it's a different level of poverty. That's what growing up in the South is like. It's experiencing a different level of poverty. I didn't grow up like that bad, you know what I mean? Like I was pretty well off, but my surroundings, and even to this day, like the average household income in my community in Pritchard, Alabama now is $24,000 a year for a family of 3.
Wow.
You feel me?
Damn, I ain't even think about that.
$24,000. That's the median family income for a family of 3, and that hasn't changed, man. Minimum wage in Alabama is still $7.25 an hour. You feel me? So it's like that's why I had to get out. You know what I mean? Essentially, man. That's why like I grew up by the age of 14, 15 years old. I knew Mobile, Alabama is where dreams come to die. Like you want it by any means.
It's like it's like crabs in the bucket in a sense. Like, you know,
well, crabs in the bucket, but more so like nobody knows that it's possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, think about small towns like those middle America towns and like places like the South, Jackson, Mississippi, goddamn shit. Gifford just had somebody which was Melly, you know what I mean? But those small towns don't really if you don't see nobody do it, you don't know it's possible. You know what I mean? Like growing up
versus a metropolis city that is kind of like,
bro, what? You know? Niggas looked at me crazy for shooting, man. Like to this day, like I can't just walk around the hood like with a Sony camera to the gas station. Start take what? Hell no! Like it's and that's like even like photography, skateboarding. Like skateboarding was one of those things when I came to California. I was blown to see like gangbangers, hard killers, skateboarding. You know what I mean? Because growing up in the hood, like in the South, that's a white boy thing.
Yeah,
and you get beat up, you get talked about. But I once got explained to by like an OG is just like, we killers out here in these streets, but we get on this board. It's our only chance we got to be kids. You know what I mean? And be free.
If you think about it, like a person like Antoine Dixon,
Private Devil. Yeah. That's literally what I'm talking about.
All them.
But see, growing up, like that's one of the goals that I do have for my community, man. Like back home is to bring like skateboarding and people like that to show people like you can be hard as fuck, tattooed up, because everybody wants to emulate California. Everybody want to be a Blood. Everybody want to be Crip. Everywhere else in the United States, but they don't understand like the dichotomy that comes in. You know what I mean? Of these situations, that you could be both. You know what I mean? And that's really what you know I'm about, bro. Honestly, man, the ability to interweave into both worlds and to represent both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when did you start picking up a camera officially?
Camera. Let's see. My Aunt Marilyn bought me my first camera when I was.
I'm gonna say this.
All right, professionally?
No. I'm gonna say this. When did you start picking up a camera?
I would say.
And then you can follow up after that.
I would say. All right, my first camera was my 8th birthday, but it's hard to think about it now, man. Honestly, beginning of my 20s.
Oh, word.
Like beginning of my 20s. My aunt brought me a camera because before I came to Los Angeles, I lived in Napoli, Italy for a year with my Aunt Marilyn. And I turned 20 years old in Italy. So I started my 20s like in Italy, got my camera, and moved to LA from there. And that's really what started a passion, you know what I mean, toward I'm going to come to LA with my camera and figure it out. And that was May 2012, I think. Yeah. And from that, trials and tribulations, coming to LA, met my mentor on a random. That's a long story that we'll get into another time. But met my mentor. Long story short, I met one guy that introduced me to a group of brothers that to this day is how I know. Yeah. So I know you. So I know, you know what I mean, Benny, everybody else. It's really weird how it worked out. Not weird, but it was like
perfect timing.
I mean, perfect timing, but really fate and like destiny, because essentially I can trace that one distinct moment, you know what I mean, like to the rest of the course of history, you know what I mean, honestly, to where we at today. And essentially what happened was, like, I met this brother and he told me, like, man, at the time I was selling weed, you know what I mean, so it was like, essentially, bro, you a weed man, dog, you not a photographer, yeah, you got a camera, you know what I mean, but the summer and fall of 2012, I went on tour with 40 Ounce, which was a group, Ash Riser, Nikki T, and it was open up for what's that guy name, man? The fat guy, Carnage.
Okay.
Open up for Carnage, man. And it was all local, regional, like San Diego, San Francisco, Orange County, but they was doing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, man. I'm a kid from Alabama, man. You know what I mean? I ain't never stayed up this long. I'm talking about Thursday, but that summer really like made me fall in love, you know what I mean, with the city, with the process. And like I said, this is the age before Instagram. Yeah. So back then it wasn't about no clout, it wasn't about trying to get no likes. It was just, man, I'm getting in clubs, like no lines, like my whole LA experience from the jump has been very I've been very fortunate to like not really have to like pry no doors open, but just walk through doors that was already open for me. Yeah. And I gotta attest, I will say, shout out Ash Riser, shout out Nikki T, you know what I mean, like these two brothers specifically showed me what the city was really about on the music photography level, because it's layers to it, you know what I mean, like it's I
feel like with your work, and my bad to cut you off, but I feel like with your work it's kind of like one of them type of situations that you caught a moment that somebody wouldn't really typically get. You know what I'm saying? When I see it, I just see it like in the perspective, and I'm only just talking about music for
I got you. That. Yeah.
And the way that you just capture a moment during that moment is just like, this is like a timepiece, because you just think about, damn, this was just last year, or this was like 5 years, this was like 10 years, damn, time flies. And when you look at that, you just look at a perspective of, damn, how the artist or the person was at that moment in time and what that brings to the table. So yeah.
No, absolutely, man. I was just telling, I think, Vinny Arad the other night, that's why one of the main reasons why I picked up photography, like, as I like to say, I'm a photographer, but it's my passion. You know what I mean?
It's a difference. It's a big difference.
It's a very difference.
Like even just like by us just setting up like right now. Even this is video, but we don't even have to say much. We just like, yo, this belongs here.
Exactly. It is, and that's why I feel like I picked up music video editing and like other parts of the visual craft, because essentially I love photography, man. Like, you know what I mean? That's about, like, I don't.
It's a drug.
Yeah, bro. Like this is the one thing that genuinely makes me happy, no matter what, whether I'm getting paid for it or not. I would do this for the rest of my life.
Literally. But till I'm like 80, 90.
100%. But the thing about LA makes you start to question that as far as the love and the job and paying bills for it, which is why I felt like, I think that was when we lived in Wilshire, 2013, 2014?
14.
2014, it was like, what, 6 of us in a one bedroom? And one bedroom. 6 of us in one bedroom.
Only 2 people had the room. So.
Exactly. And this brother, no, I didn't have a room. I had a pantry.
No, I'm saying, yeah. Jason Jane had the room. Then it was like
the living room.
Yeah, the living room. And then I was in the tent.
Bo was on
over there. Tim and his girl was in this like closet
pantry.
Yeah. Big ass closet was like a bed to fit in that bitch.
Yeah, but like essentially, it was that summer of working. You know what I mean? Like this is when Instagram was a great place when you could just DM anybody you want to on no such shit, and they would hit you up and be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come over." You know what I mean? Like, and shout out to Tiana, shout out to Plato's Muse. Like these are people that to this day I didn't shout Tiana. Shout out to Joffrey and their son. Yeah. Because I have got to watch the whole growth, you know what I mean, of like model, wedding, pregnancy, first photos, and that's why I say like
when they first started dating, you know?
Man, and that's why I say I had to make a distinction when I was like 23 at the time, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can get paid for what I do, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can do this, but
the art of it.
But when I start shooting product shots and lookbooks for brands that I don't like, you know what I mean?
They don't hit the same. Cause it's like they taking your sauce.
Exactly. And you taking something that I genuinely love and just you're not doing it for the art.
And you're doing it for the paper.
Exactly. And
which ain't no problem, but it's like at the end of the day, when it comes down the line, when it's about that paper, it don't hit the same when you just have the passion for something. And this is not even just photography, just anybody have a passion for anything.
Oh,
you know.
But yeah, brother. I forgot how you got.
Nah, it's all good. You know, that lets you know it's a passion of it.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, 100%.
So like, what was like? You mentioned like a camera. What was your first camera that you was
Canon? It was a Canon 3.5 megapixel camera.
Oh wow!
I remember I got it. I was in 8th grade. I went to Botanical Gardens. And I shot butterflies with it, man. It was one of my.
That's always the first photographers, like first, like, cause I was doing the same thing, going to the beach for shooting pictures and all that shit. So when did you get your start in videography? Like when you start having a passion for that?
That was actually that summer I was talking about, man, with 40 ounce, because I was shooting. It was actually like a sink or swim moment. Essentially, I met my mentor Justin Buzz and. Ironically, the night I met my mentor Justin Butts, he was working on this brother's biggest video. Yeah. Which is how I heard about Vinny for the first time. And I watched. Like I said, I'm the type of person where if I see something that I think that I can do, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna fall in love with it. Like I'm a very passionate person. So I saw him editing his video for the first time. You know what I mean? It was like shit. Well, I'll try something like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And shout out to Nikki and Ash, who gave me my first start. Just like, you want to come? You got a camera? Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and they were happy with like my growth in the process. There's still a couple 40 ounce videos out there somewhere that I've done, but I honestly loved it, man. Like,
and you literally, the more you go into it, you understand that's kind of really the same thing as photography.
It is, but it's
just different. It's just that photography is just a still frame, but videography is just multiple still frames.
Yeah. I think about videography is videography really got. I feel like videography really separates, like how anybody to a certain extent can edit. You know what I mean? But it's the creativity that goes behind it. When Instagram,
consistency too.
Yeah, consistency. When Instagram first, like Vinny can attest to it. The day that Instagram allowed 1 minute videos,
like I remember that day.
Literally the exact date, the date. Like 10 p.m. that night, man, or 10 a.m. the next day, me, Bo, we had shot the first Green Eggs and Yams commercial, man. And what it did, it taught me the ability to catch somebody's. No, actually, it wasn't even a minute in the beginning. It was 15 seconds.
It was?
It was 15 seconds. It was 15. Dude, and what it taught me
was 15 seconds.
I had to learn how to capture somebody's attention within the first 5 seconds of a video. You know what I mean? And keep it. You know what I mean? And that's what became fun, man. And as the game has evolved and changed, and effects and like
all that,
everything changed. You know what I mean? And that's why I think I'm finding myself now pull more back into photography because it's like that last pure thing. You know what I mean? Like you're right. Anybody can take a photo, but like how you shoot it, and what you shoot.
What's your composition like?
Exactly.
What's your storytelling? Even photos and videography. That's why I say it kind of plays hand in hand. But even though like with videography, the composition is a little bit different because you have to understand how the person, like in the room.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it's the same. I mean, it's the same rules. Like it's the rule that's how I set up the camera here today.
Yeah.
It's the rule of thirds. But with, I'm starting to understand now, like the print, the law, the art of the like holding things in your hand is going away. You know what I mean? Which is why I've lost so many hard drives and so many amazing footage. You know what I mean? But the only thing that I can say that I still got that hold dear that can never go away is my negatives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like you can lose 30,000, you can lose all your hard drives, everything could like crash. But those negatives, that's your like for me, that's my legacy. You know what I mean? Like I lost a hard drive that had the day nipped out on it that killed me. You know what I mean? But I looked at the photos earlier today, and I'm just so thankful. I still got the film photos from that day and those voice notes from that day. And I realized it's a reason why these cameras are still around 20, 30 years later.
And it still works.
They still work. Like
even though it's a hit or miss, it still works.
Yeah. I mean, they just dependable, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just dependable.
And it's small.
But like, and what they're doing now,
and it's the process of it too.
It's special, man. It really is. It's a lot.
It's like a drug. It's like
man.
It's a drug of a drug because it's like when you take it to the developer or you develop yourself, like yo, I need to hurry up. This ain't developed.
That's the best part of my day, man. That's the best part of my day for
Especially
sure.
when you know you got some heat and it's like, okay, how the color is gonna look like?
Man.
How is this gonna look like? Look at the authenticity when you look at the viewfinder of it, like you know.
Nah, I'm starting to. Like I said, I was going through my photos earlier, and I started to realize that I haven't even touched my digital photos yet. I'm going through files and files of film here now that hit, man. And like you said, I think the film exposes the authentic eye. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, anybody can YouTube some videos and like look up a tutorial and edit how somebody else edit.
Yeah.
When it comes down to like, film is very forgiving, but at the same time, the composition of the things that you shoot, and that's why I told my brother. So I told you the same thing the other day. You want to be on the right side of history right now. All the art that you put out, everything that you put out into the world, it matters, man. Right now, even if you didn't do nothing before 2020, it matters now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I really encourage like everybody to shoot, create music, paint, write.
Cause it's gonna come out.
It's
gonna come out.
It matters. Even if you're no like, even if you in your room right now, man, listen to this freestyling. Look, it matter, dog. I'm telling you, bro. Like some kid in 2050 is gonna find your tape and be like, holy shit. I'm telling you, dude. I can say this at 28 because being a kid of our generation, man, you can look at history and see where things are at now and see how much. Like, you know what I would give, man, just to have a computer with LimeWire on it, with everything, like, you remember when you could download it and it just stays in there, and you can just turn the non-CD off, and it just, like, if I could just have anything with that, bro. And in retrospect, like I said, you get older, you don't think about that shit, bro. You know what I mean? But, like, now,
it's crazy how time flies with that.
Dude, technology.
Day by day.
I remember burning CDs, man. That's what I did in Alabama. Man.
That was a hustle, low key.
Shout out, yo.
Flea markets and all.
Oh, what? Yeah. Shout out to my cousin Troy, man. Dead ass.
In Miami, like, you know, I don't know how it is in Mobile, Alabama, but in Miami we have flea markets and shit. Obviously, like, you know, all like, you know, every city kind of have their one flea market, but you know, you have that little booth that all this shit. You want this? All right, get another CD, two for the 5 or 2 for the 10 type shit.
Like, damn, all these different songs on one CD, like, you ain't got to buy the whole album.
Yeah,
bro,
that changed me.
Or you could tell the dude, like, yo, I don't want this song, like how you said, like, yo, I want this track from this album. I want this track. I know a guy to this day. He has that. He does that in Liberty City. To this day.
I mean, it's a lost art. I mean, I'm trying to think, man. That shit was really a moment in life, dude. Because I couldn't. You know, niggas couldn't always afford the Jordans, man. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But dead ass, man. Nigga figured out how to get them CDs on the low ski. A nigga figured out how to get them CDs. Yeah, go ahead. Nigga figured out how to get them CDs on the low ski, man. And figured out how to print out the booklets.
Mm-hmm.
I fucked around, got a light scribe where I could burn the actual image onto the disc. Every Friday and Saturday, man. Me and my boy Troy. But yeah, that's one thing about it. Like, photography is always my passion, but I'm like hustling. Shout out to my pops. Yeah. Like, that's where screen printing comes from. My dad used to own a screen printing and library conscious t-shirt shop on King Boulevard in the 90s.
And shout out to your dad, the Fat Albert character. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah.
He drew it from like
man. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah.
Pops did. Pops was out here killing the game, man, in the early 2000s on the Platinum Fubu. And I'm like I said, I'm happy. My dad came out here in what was that, 3-4 years ago, man, and he came out here down from up north and essentially gave me the screen printer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that's why I'm really passionate about it. It may come as third or fourth on the priority list right now with everything else that I do, but I'm very passionate about it because it's like it lived through the riots. You know what I mean? The first 90s riots. It lived through 4 Super Bowls. My dad, to this day, I still got metallic silver from when the LA was at the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, in the garage right now. So, moments like, things like those and sentimental, and things like those and moments like these matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think everything correlates.
So let's go back to like your work. How would you describe your videography skills and your photography skills as well? And what's your creative process like?
I would say my creative. We'll start here because it goes hand in hand with the photos and the videos. Other than the days where I may go out and shoot, like I have art days where I may just, instead of driving to the store, I'll take the camera and I walk around the corner. You know what I mean? Just to get my head clear. And it always authentic creative days always start with the same question I pose myself. Not the same question, but the same statement. Yeah. At the end of the day, dog, you just want to create something beautiful. And that's what I've always started with. Kiso got born because I used to have a thing when I did my visuals to try to keep things at like 1, 2, 3 type edits. Yeah. And it was really just to prove a fact that people like simple things. And the more I would over edit and the more I would overdo things, it'll get like 4 views, 5 views. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like this, it's an Instagram video that's on my Instagram right now called Cigarette Water. It's about 15 seconds, I think. And I literally did it just to prove a fact, like people like stupid shit. You know what I mean? And it's to this day, it's still the same process. When I create my collages, I try to keep everything to a. If I get to a 4:15, I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? It's like always keep things very simple, keep things very organic. My video process really has evolved, honestly, man. Throughout the last. Yeah, I mean that has been the one authentic skill that I have actually learned myself. Yeah. And I've worked on multiple I have worked on multiple projects throughout the last couple of years that have got me to the places I'm at now. As far as if I can think it, if I can see it, I can pretty much do it. And besides that, I'm not even gonna front. I got a strong team, man. Yeah. Like I got my boy Nikki T, who's a phenomenal editor. I got my little homie Skagos Perp, Carrie, who is another up-and-coming phenomenal editor. And really, when I started videos, I didn't know that there was different levels to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't know that, director, editor, camera op, assistant director, assistant editor, like, I didn't know all these levels to it, so I just learned everything. So now at 28, moving forward, I will say that even though I'm capable of doing like most of the things on set, I try to use my team as much as I can.
And team is very important because doing some of the things we discussed this earlier on how like even big production shit, like, probably the greatest movies, it wouldn't happen if they didn't have that fucking team.
You got it, bro. It's like Jordan, man.
Literally.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. Like, you could be Jordan. You can still drive.
But your ass gonna be like a hamster wheel.
But you gonna lose the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna cap. Like, it took me last 2 years, you know what I mean, to really, you know what I mean, lean into that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not even gonna front. I know that about myself as an artist. I'm very sensitive. I'm very, not cocky and confident, but like, I'm sensitive about my shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it took me a while to understand that I gotta work best at what I'm best at sometimes. I know I'm a planner. You know what I mean? Like I write everything down. You feel what I'm saying?
Because you
like,
know you're gonna forget at one point.
And it's like I've done things. I spent my first 20 through 26 guerrilla style. You know what I mean? I done shot some crazy good videos off the wing.
But do you think that is it because that you want to take it to that next level?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at.
Let's talk about that. Like, when did you decide? Like, damn, I want to take it to that next level. You know, and stop bullshit. You know,
I would say I did this documentary.
Mm-hmm.
What was that last year, right? I think. This year. Yeah. Oh, that was this year. I did a documentary earlier this year, man. On a broken foot.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially like a fucking 2.5 hour documentary in 2 days. And I did it with the Dream Team. You know what I mean? And essentially, I got put in a position from my mentor where I'm not shooting anything. Your job is to direct, keep me on shot list. Like, this is what needs to be done. And the preparation that went into it was like I've never seen before. You know what I mean? And it really was on some like put up or shut up. And moving forward, I realized, yes, I'm capable of doing things like in the whim, but the best product comes out when it's prepared and planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I write down, I base everything off colors, shots, scenes, lighting, tones. You know what I mean? Like all these things are playing correlation because it's gonna make sense in my head a little bit more.
Why? For instance, like with that, like, do you think those little factors play a part of how you move when it comes down to the video side of things as well? Because with photography, you still got to plan and all that, but I feel like it takes a lot more work when it comes down to the videography times because you got to deal with the time sheets, you got to deal with this and that.
Oh, well, see, that's another thing. Like that's it all correlates, and when it goes down to like actually the delegation of a team. As far as time sheets go, like I've been in a situation like what was that? I produced the Shoreline Mafia video, "Get Off Your Wings." That was like my first time actually like executive producing. I'm in control of the call times, PAs. I gotta call everybody, make sure they're at a certain time. And on top of that, I gotta stay with my cameraman and my director because it's Nikki and my boy. So I gotta make sure that we all on point because one guy works completely creatively, and another guy works completely technically, like strategic shots. Yeah. So it's like I'm always that middle ground between. I understand what you're saying. Now let me explain it to him. All right, the first thing we're shooting is this. Second thing we're shooting is this.
It's like literally a coach.
Yeah,
like
it
literally.
It is. But
he's like you call him plays like.
No, 100%.
But with dealing with different personalities as well too.
100%. And that's why I think with photography.
Do you think that developed a skill for you on the long run of what you organizing everything and making sure all that, or do you think as well by you being organized, do you think that played a role of why you organized as well too?
I think being organized on that shoot to that level because it was so much money, time, and investments involved, and it was literally like. I was up in this room 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, typing out treatments, typing out shot lists. Like I on a level of like, but it's like it's like it's a dream job. It's the first I'm here with my boys, like, and my foot, bro, and I probably would want an easier job like shooting the camera, but like if they think I can do it, then obviously they must see something in me that I can do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it really just comes down to just breaking it down, but I think that's one of the hardest parts about me personally being an artist of how my brain works. You see things people can't see. I see things people can't see, and I see the feel. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not just because I shoot and I edit. You know what I mean? Yeah. The camera just comes naturally. You know what I mean? That's like automatic. It is. It's like breathing. But with videography and with editing, I think videography editing really allows me to be more creative. You know what I mean? It really allows me to push myself. Tunnel vision on top of that too. Exactly. Oh yeah, because I sit down at a desk for 8-9 hours at a time. Yeah. But it allows me to push myself creatively, and it allows. And honestly, like I love competing with my brothers. You know what I mean? Like that's my favorite thing in the world. Like that, they go hard. I want to go harder. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, brother, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. So. Do you remember your first ever shoot that you ever did? It could be photography and videography as well. And were you nervous at that time? First shoot. Oh, I gotta think hard. Wow. Oh, maybe she might hear this. I actually do. That summer I was talking about, man, in Wilshire, where I had to figure out, like, you know, I'm calling girls every day off Instagram, me and new people. And I shot the wife from International Players Athlete. Her name is,
Oh, wow.
yeah, bro. But I do remember her, and I shot Seiko from Baldwin Hills. I remember those two shoots specifically. Not being nervous, but just thinking to myself, like, bro, this shit happened kind of quick, man. Like, I kind of just started taking this shit seriously, and not. And honestly, looking back, I understand why, because as a photographer, I must say it takes
time.
It takes time, man. It takes time, man.
To learn the manuals.
It just takes time to feel comfortable where you can see.
Because you're dealing with people.
Dude, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with the editing, you know what I mean? Like, it took me years to finally, to this day, I'm still, like, will fuck with a photo for, like, hours at a time.
Yeah. Just one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, like, that's what happened. Like, photos, when I wasn't as confident in my photos, I got to stretch my wings in videography. You know what I mean? And I will say, the first company I started with Bo's on Instagram, Green Eggs and Yams, is a great attachment to that. Like, I learned how to build a company, I learned how to build a brand, I learned how to stay consistent. You know what I mean?
And you know, a lot of people don't understand. That's
everything.
That's not only that's everything, but it becomes a toll.
Oh, it's
in a sense, because it's like I can only imagine what all of us as creators right here go through. Like, I bet it's like, okay, we've done the process already, but then now it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? And it's like, you gotta do it again. It's not
thing. Yeah.
Exactly,
It gets tired.
And it's not stop. And a lot of people, they go crazy off that now, like off the consistency. But it's like, y'all don't understand what we go through mentally. We're not normal.
With a team.
Exactly.
Like, get that balance.
Now, the more older you get, I bet the more successful you get in your photography field and creatively, you start to understand that, having a whole team, having people around you is very important.
No, it's
because you don't want to be in that, like, you don't want to be like a hamster in a hamster wheel.
It keeps you on point. And I will say, like, now that I think about it throughout this whole conversation, when I came to California, like, my original goal for Los Angeles was to make a movie. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't even for, like, no major budget, you know what I mean, type shit. Like, I specifically came out here to have the story of how I got to California in the first place, you know what I mean? To be told. And in that, life as usual, you know what I mean, opened so many other doors, you know what I mean? So where, like, when I get to the point where I'm ready to make my movie, I'm actually capable of doing it, you know what I mean, and knowing and understanding it a whole lot better about how it's done. And like I said, photography's like that main, you know what I mean? She always there. She ain't never let me go. She ain't gonna never disappoint you. Like, no matter if I get video editing is frustrating because there's so many capabilities you can do.
It's more of a team effort when it comes down to videography versus photography. You can still have a team in photography because, big setups and shit like that. But
100%.
When it comes to videography, you gotta have a team. I mean, you don't have to, but if you don't want to be a hamster on the wheel,
100%.
What would you say? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What would you say would be like the biggest roadblock you face as being a photographer and a videographer?
At the same time, biggest roadblock, I can't think of one. I mean, honestly, because it's like, what my pops always taught me was, man, learn as much as you can. You know what I mean? And like I told you, I started doing video editing because I genuinely loved to do it. It was fun. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting paid for it at the time on tour. Like, I fucked around and learned it because I was just trying to, have fun. And it took years, and I just kept doing it. That music videos start coming, and short films, and documentaries, and different things start coming. That I realized, like, I could really, like, make a living off this thing. And photography for a time never came in the background, but it's just like, oh, you want to shoot? Like, I can do that too. You know what I mean? Like, but they've always. LA has an abundance of photographers. LA has an abundance of videographers. LA has an abundance of editors. But how I always looked at it is a client come to me, you ain't gotta hire nobody else. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
As far as photos, videos, editing goes, like that trifecta, like you don't have to outsource nobody else. Like, I feel like with that, and then also the ability that I like to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm passionate about a project, I like the capability of being in control of all visual aspects, of a story. Yeah.
What would you say is the key elements of post-production in videography, and why?
Organization. Organization and shot list is what I learned in the last year, honestly, man. I used to be, I maybe still do, but I try to watch it in the last 2 years, how much you shoot.
Yeah.
Rookies tend to shoot, you might have 85, 95 clips for a 6 hour shoot. You know what I mean? You got 15 clips to go through for a music video. And more is always good, you know what I mean, with video editing, just in case you miss something. What you run into is it's hard to keep up with everything, and your vision of what you're trying to do becomes a little bit more cloudy. I try to keep. I shot Gorilla for years, man. Some of me and Vinny's best videos, Alexis, Camel Menthol, like these videos are all Gorillas. Actually, no. Alexis was treatment. Alexis was I wrote down but my main thing with Alexis was I'm gonna do the complete opposite to whatever is going on in that video. But I will say is like I said, for me personally, and I think I'm starting to realize why I am an asset to my peers in the video field when they hire me for a job. It's not always to. I do a lot of assistant directing, you know what I mean, or just PA or just being right there, because whatever you want to do and you want to communicate to the client, I am sure it'll be a whole lot better if it's written down.
Yeah. So both of you guys have
exactly
and understand what's the big picture of what we trying to make.
At the end of the day, somebody like my mentor Busty's always tell me, "Well, we get here. What's the first thing we shooting?
Yeah.
What's the first thing? You got to be able to tell. You know what I mean? Even it can sound good in your head. You know what I mean? It sounds great.
You have it in paper,
but like you having it on paper and actually being able to communicate at the bare minimum, like, all right, look, you gonna stand here, you gonna shoot here, we gonna do this, and that's it. Now, I think a key about that is not straying from the plan. You know what I mean? It's something that I'm a passionate person. I see this, oh, that's beautiful, let's go shoot this. You know what I mean? I feel like once you have a core foundation to what you want to shoot around, everything else afterwards is extra. But it's like, you go into a project, all right, I need to get, like we talking about the Fresh Prince joint. Yeah. The Fresh Prince joint was so smooth and came out so clean, I feel like, because it's not that it was easy. It's easy because it's already thought out and planned. It's a trailer, so each one of those scenes was shot out like a whole full production of a movie.
And that's
every single one. And I can tell you it's about maybe 9 scenes in that whole movie. So at a bare minimum, you look at like maybe a 2-week job. If you got all the crew and it's like, the scenes aren't long. Mm-hmm. They probably got 2-3 minute takes of the whole thing. You know,
and the actors gonna do their job on top
Period.
of it. Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's what I aim to move better in the 4th quarter of the year, man. Like organization, taking projects on and seeing them to their completion, and planning, man. Proper planning with production, especially in the age that we're at right now. Where content is king. Like it is. The utmost important. Everybody got an idea.
Content is all about really storytelling.
No, 100%.
And understanding, like, damn, I could get your attention within the 5 seconds. And then I got you.
Attention. Let's think about it. That's what I'm always about. I think my editing style always tries to replicate that. I don't try to. You got to get their attention. You know what I mean? But it's about
consistency on that.
It's about keeping it, man. I think in the age where everything is fleeting, I think in the age where everything is fleeting, man, and everything is temporary, everything is right now.
Do you think we would go back to having like the chill moments, like how it was in the 90s?
I'm gonna tell you what has to happen, man. I'm gonna tell you what legit would have to happen, man. They will have to,
because technology's moving fast day by day.
Fast. But I'm gonna tell you what has to happen, man. Essentially, something the same way the world got reset. Mm-hmm. The socials, the internet is due for a reset. The internet never been reset. You know what I mean? Mm. We ain't never went a month where the internet is off. Like, that ain't happened yet. Where people aren't able to communicate.
It's been a while. No, that was well, by being from Florida, it's kind of different because we had hurricanes.
Exactly. We went weeks. What? Ivan? Come on now, man.
Yo, Katrina when Katrina first hit, Wilma, all of that. Like, so it's just like, It's been a long time.
Nah,
Because even in your phones, you have internet. Even when you go through, you know what I'm saying, through situations. Yeah,
100%.
So, based on the conversation we had, I heard you like worked with Issa Rae. Let's talk about how that came about and what you was doing on that.
Man, shout out my boy Rich Stevenson, man. That is my boy, man.
It's funny because that's a funny story because it's one of the first-hand experiences I got to see with how LA and Instagram works and how no matter how many followers you have, you really never know who's watching you.
Exactly.
That came about when I came back from Alabama, seeing my daughter. Shout out to Maya and Alicia. I came back from seeing my daughter. Me and his brother used to go to Escon D. We used to do lift together. After every shift, we'll meet up at Escon D. You know what I mean? For a couple hours, shop the shit. All right, push your mission. I push my mission. But randomly, brother puts on Instagram. Yo, I need a camera operator. Hit me up. And I was sitting next to Vinny. He was like, bro, man, you might as well, bro. He's like, fuck it, bro. Like, let's go hit him up.
Yeah.
Bro, I hit up Rich, man. He hit me back immediately, bro. It was like, yo, can you come run it was a gym. Honestly, man, Rich should be hearing this. The first time I did not know how to use it, man. But you know what? I killed it. I showed up. You know what I mean?
It was something new too, as well.
It was beautiful, man. Like, bro, I feel like I told my parents. I feel like I've been in LA at the time was 7 years or 6 years, and I feel like I literally everything I had did in LA was for that moment. You know what I mean?
And you was ready for it.
I was. I mean, I was doing live at the time, but yeah, I was. It wasn't nothing in the world that made me miss that. And from there, it started like a 2-year relationship, man. I've been working with Issa since 2018, roughly. And it's been beautiful. It's all black crew. It is.
You're the second person that told me that out here.
Freaking. Words can't.
Who would have thought, though? Who would have thought? Honestly.
I mean, shout out to Boss Lady, man, because I'm telling you, dude, she doing it right. Like,
yo.
And
that's crazy.
Bro, let me say this. They pay on time. And that's what I say that because in a city of LA, bro, we're like, I'll tell you, it's a quick story. 2015, what I thought was my dream job. I did the 2014 actually, in the BET Awards, where I got to do essentially BET Awards weekend for Ciroc and Bad Boy. And essentially just did recap videos for artists that came on the bus and whatnot, and thought it was gonna be the best thing in the freaking world, brother. At one point, I was walking down Sunset Boulevard off the Ciroc bus with my iMac on some. It's not happening, man. It's just because the organization factors that went into it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't there, and at the time, I probably wasn't there. But long story short, it took 6 months to get that check. 6 months.
I hear a lot of that.
And it was like my first ever over a rat, you know what I mean? Type 3 days, we get money, and I ended up turning more than it. This is my first real realization of contracts, losing creative control. First-hand experience of getting called into a big guy's office and being like, yo, delete that shit. You can't say nothing. I own it. You know what I mean? And that's why from that to working with a smaller crew that you just don't, it's for me it's like a southern comfort. I'm from the South, man. We respect morals, we respect that southern feeling of hospitality, man, family. And it's you pull up the set and you got your boy Justin what's up, brother? You know what I mean? And nobody, the thing about it is when you go on sets in Hollywood in the main industry, you never want to, especially as a minority, you go on set and you immediately feel like the underdog. You also immediately feel like you better know everything.
Oh my God!
You better know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's already
ask questions.
Yeah, it's like an intimidating type of situation because it's you think when you answer the shit, you think you got it wrong. Off top by you just opening your mouth.
Exactly.
Yo.
And I'm not gonna front. That's what's made me really start my own brand, start my own production company, Kiso. Because of those experiences, you know what I mean, in the industry. You'll find a job on Craigslist, and it may be $200-300 for the day, but you work 14 hours. It may pay you in a day. They may take 30 days, but regardless, you never hear from them again. And the way the industry works is, it really is Hollywood is an industry where you can't really just walk in the door. Somebody gotta
Yeah.
let you in. Which is why I say shout out to Rich, man, because that brother held the door open for me, and in turn left it for me to open the door for somebody else. And that's why I say
Creating
like,
opportunities,
bro,
especially people like us.
that's why IRP, Issa Rae Productions, man, is like one of those premier production companies that is like not talking the talk, but walking the walk. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not even about it's not even about the money, bro. It's just about the respect factor, dude. The fact that you could, they ain't hired me off my followers. You know what I mean? They hired me off no clout. You know what I mean?
They hired you
They hired me
because of
off
quality.
me, bro. Quality and
you.
me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what Rich told me. Like, essentially, it's just like who you want to work with. You know? And that's what it comes down to in the industry. It's not about. Let me tell you something, bro. They got people out here taping down floors for $1,200 a day.
Yeah, yo,
Bro.
people don't understand.
No, they don't like-
yo, my dog, I'm not gonna say no names. My dog showed me the check by him just taking film pictures, like point and shoot shits for the shit. He
Yeah.
like, yo, you see this check? But nah, he wasn't trying to like
Yeah,
show
nah.
me. He was just like showing me as inspiration, like, bro, you see this?
Yeah,
This shit is something, but it's not really.
bro.
I'm getting a band off of the check. I'm seeing what he doing. Like he like, yo, bro, little homie, just come through.
It's so. I mean, it's just like rap, bro. The music and the film industry is money. You know what I mean? And it's like I ain't gonna cap. I heard. I did my first. That's a shout out IRP, man. Shout out Vincent. I did my first award show, man. Right before this, like that's why this year has been really weird, man. Because I was on a. It's like. You go through the guerrilla style of LA, you know what I mean, coming up from the trenches, doing the underground stuff, to where you finally get that call up to the big leagues, you know what I mean, you feel like, and then fucking coronavirus happens, man. Like, I fucked around and paid my rent for the first time in my life, bro, like, consistently off net 30s, where checks consistently came in, bro, off my crowd, bro. Like, I didn't know it was possible, you know what I mean? So, like, coronavirus happens, but I was saying, like, essentially, I did an award show, this year, the African American Film Festival, and it was like the biggest job that I've probably ever done. Like as far as like Jamie Foxx was there, Lupita Nyong'o, brother did Parasite, like star-studded event. Yeah, and I'm on middle camera. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize like, I'm a camera op, getting paid a nice amount of money for it. Yeah, all I'm doing is press record. You know what I mean? Yeah, watch it, which is something I wish I knew. At 21, 22 years old. Even the focusing aspect of the shit. Dude, exactly. Somebody get paid for that too. You hear that, guys? There's a guy who... that's what I'm saying.
They don't even know.
The film industry and the movie industry is, bro, it's so much money. And it was there that I found out, like, it really made me take... Like, I may be a writer, a director, photographer, editor, but as far as the money goes, I just found a second camera operator for a $3 million movie gets paid $150K, 2 month job. Second cam. And it's like this. Somebody says, I'm gonna give you $100,000 to make a project. What you gonna get the money back? So of course, it's not gonna cost me $100,000 to do it, you know what I mean? Like, but I'll fuck around and give my boy $10,000 to go shoot photos. Yeah. And that's what I wish. That's why I really want like the younger generation to understand that we not in the early 2000s, 90s no more. You know what I mean? Like, because that was even like a whole different ball game. Niggas getting rap money off photos and videos these days, guys. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's more out there. Y'all fix the camera. Yeah, man.
I think it's actually more shot though.
Nah, just go back to how it was, man. It's all good.
No.
Just move it.
Move the whole thing forward. Like
right. Yeah. Nah, but flip it. Flip it my way.
Yeah. Yeah, we good.
Damn, y'all boys. Y'all stay still. But you were talking about.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I got the first part. It don't need trip.
So you were talking about how like back in the days how rappers, I mean not even rappers, but just like people just getting like money off of the rap videos and shit like that. Bro, Hype was doing shit for $1 million, man. What was that? I think the most expensive video at the time was a Busta Rhymes video, bro. They did like $3-4 million, and it was all green screen. Yeah. Like then it was insane. You know what I mean? But like now it's just like we know what you're doing. But now it's just like technology, bro. Yeah. You know, cameras got smaller, things got cheaper, and that's why I feel like editing really comes into play nowadays because it's like
prime example. You could be a ball player that could be a straight 3-point shooter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like if you like AI where you can fucking, you know what I mean, do the crossover and pull up for the three, then you stupid. But if you do the AI and pull the Kobe and do the dunk, like and like that's where it's at now with like how the creative process of video editing like is interweaved because it's sound, it's like there's video and there's just that, and then there's the editing of the scoring, and then there's the sound effects, and then there's the coloring, and then there's the lighting, and then there's the post effects. Like there's so many levels to it, and I got one of those minds where I just want to learn everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
were you the kids? My bad, cut you.
Go ahead.
What were you the kids that looked at movies like when you got the DVDs and you was just like, yo? Like, I used to go to special.
Oh, bro, I haven't thought about it in years, bro. Wow, bro. No, I remember.
Real recognize real.
It was like the button.
Yeah.
Director's commentary.
Yes.
Bro.
Deleted scene.
Menace to Society. Bro, Menace to Society was one of the first DVDs I ever saw, bro. And they had like the deleted scenes on there and shit, bro. But, damn, that's really a lost art, man. I might start a DVD collection, bro. Like, no count. Oh, nah, I remember, bro, growing up, that's actually.
It made it. What do you call sort of like interactive?
Yeah.
Because VHS was just like
it was just that.
Just take. Yeah.
Yo, he know.
DVD was like.
Oh, that's.
No, that shit was the coolest shit in the world when it came out, bro.
Or the VHS used to be like, yo, you just put it in, and then you have to wait to the end and like the credits and everything to get.
Oh my god, you remember how long that damn FBI thing used to be on the damn TV, bro? Yeah. You used to be there like, all right, come on, I want fast forward. As soon as you fast forward, that shit go.
And then they go back to the beginning type shit. What, by the way, even we talking about movies right now, what was like the movies that you kind of got inspired that made you be the person that you are to this day right now?
To this day, man. City of God, man.
Yo.
City of God, bro. City of God, bro. I saw
and by the way, everybody, I originally saw this for the first time this year, and I was just amazed. Brother. Yeah.
Brother, this is the best. If you haven't seen City of God, go see it, man. It is the best.
Chills.
It's the best independent film of all time. Like,
it's like you relate to him, but he's from outside, like the country.
It's what made me. Literally, it's like one of the primary movies. Like, you know, you look back and you're like, how did I end up getting here? It was like, it means a lot to me because it's one of the last movies that I saw before my mother got deported, and I saw it at an independent film theater. It's actually I saw it. City of God came out the same year or the same time of Hustle and Flow. And it was those two movies, you know what I mean? I saw it at the theater at like around the same age, which at the time people would say was way too young for like a 11-year-old to go see. Yeah. But I really, truly shaped like how I looked at the world. But I would say City of God, like number one independent film. Do the Right Thing. Spike has always been. Spike's been my guy. That's my guy right there, man. That's my guy. Despite that's my guy. Yeah. That's my guy. So I'm happy he got his Oscar. That's like when I watched Spike get that Oscar, that made me understand more so to the point of like
you can do it too.
I mean, get into it, but like it's a marathon, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
literally.
I got a very like go get it right now type personality. You know what I mean? And my 27th, 28th year has really started to teach me, like, bro, it's time, man. It's time, brother.
Just keep on going.
It's like, it's staying in the present, but understand, like, now I can notice pivotal moments before they happen because I can look back, like, damn. Like I said, like, yo, that City of God moment was a pivotal moment. Like, me and Justin was a pivotal moment, man. Like, me and Ryan was a pivotal moment, man. Like, because back then, in those moments, you don't see it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But looking back at how the world has evolved to where we at now, it's remarkable, brother. Like, it's remarkable, man. Mm-hmm. And I would say definitely film plays a part into that. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about like off air. You actually showed me like the collages you be working on. Let's talk about that because the way that you just tell the story behind those collages and in the video aspect of it and get all these different parts of history and time and black history on top of that. So let's talk about that. Like but how do you do that and why did you start doing it? And the meaning behind all those clips.
Essentially,
interpret.
I can't talk about that without talking with my mother, man. My mother is one of the. I think Angela Davis and I think my mom, and that's not even a
Question.
That's not even a question. That's not even a strong feat, man. My mother has been on the forefront for Pan-Africanism and the forward movement of people of color throughout the world for the last easily 10, 15 years. And from that, I was raised in a household where I used to ask my mom, can I go to a party? And she'll ask me, is it for the forward movement of African people? And the answer was no. That'd be a no, son.
Yeah.
So with everything that has transpired in the last year, and with honestly watching the city get torn apart after George Floyd, it really awoke something in me after going back home of I'm talented and I can do all these things, but I know how I was raised. And I know what I'm conscious of. And I know that the reason why it keeps happening is because it's not in people's faces. You know what I mean? My job as a historian, as a visual storyteller, is to tell history. Is to tell Nina Simone said, the artist has a responsibility to represent the times. And for me, right now...
Yo, I felt that. Even though I heard that, it's just I felt that.
For real.
I felt that because, people like us, we document time. We document... Exactly. Not only the video aspect, you get that, but when you have a still...
Yeah.
And you just... When they say a picture is really worth 1,000 fucking words, he's like, even with like Candace, when I look at this picture, like, yo, like, even a Kendrick picture.
Straight up.
Like,
straight
you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Shorty, for real, man.
Like, even like your shit, like, even with the, man, I go on for days, you know what I'm saying?
100%. That's why I say, I think,
even the book that he has in at
the Contact High.
The Contact High. Even that one.
Front. That's honestly, I will say that was when I saw Contact High at the Annensburg Museum when I was in Los Angeles, that was one of the most pivotal moments. That was last year, right?
Yeah.
That was, he literally was on my head to go.
I went to see it with Shorty and I was like,
he was on my head. And literally, honestly, it was Contact High. To go back to the other question, Contact High really was that moment, that exhibit that made me realize the responsibility that I had and made me hate myself for every photo I ever lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, like, because when you see photographers from back then, especially beginning of hip hop, you know they were just like us. They had no clue what
How
they
to
like.
do it.
I'm just shooting.
Yeah.
I'm shooting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that this person's gonna go on to be LL Cool J. I don't know this person.
You was just stuck in. And you know what's so crazy? LL Cool J just recently. I'm gonna send you the link when we get off air. LL Cool J described when he just came from the hood, seeing a photographer just photographing me, like, yeah, I'm gonna get fresh and all that, but I didn't understand like the moment in time. I just was getting fresh and these are just pictures. He never when he went to a photo shoot. That was his first ever photo shoot, like the one that he just having with the speaker system in his head. That's the shoot I'm talking about. And it's crazy that that's a moment in time.
That's why I tell people right now, like, you're right. It's like everything that happened kind of between. I don't know, bro. I thought like we were talking about it earlier. For me, every picture that I have that has people in it means so much more now.
Yeah.
And it really brings it to the forefront the power of you watch the dudes. I remember growing up reading the history books. I remember the bullshit that was the history books. And it's like that's why I say photographers, creative people. I told this brother the other day, man, like, yo, your craft is important. You got a responsibility, bro, because they're not gonna tell the story how it actually went down.
Yeah.
They're not gonna
and
say
that's how they told the story years ago.
Exactly, dude. So it's like we gotta. And I'm saying, Contact High was one of those pivotal moments that made me realize I think I'm out here chasing my dream, just doing it for me. You know, I'm trying to
get for multiple people.
It's bigger than us, man. Yeah. Because the last point I'm gonna make is just. The photography, all of it goes down to essentially why I'm doing like my video collages and whatnot is because I read something by Frantz Fanon, Arrested Earth, that essentially said the human beings on this earth right now determine what humanity is.
Facts.
You feel me? So if we keep allowing police officers to kill brothers, you know what I mean? And we just vote, get somebody else in office, and it keep happening, and we just keep marching and whatever, and nothing happens from it, then in 50, 60 years, it won't even be no marching. It'll be the normal thing. It'll be the human thing to do.
Think about it. No president has stopped it completely. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. But it's like, and that's why I say, like, even more so, like, as an artist, like you determine what artistry is right now, man. You set the precedent for the future. If you're gonna be out here, no disrespect to anyone right now, but like if you're gonna be out here shooting bullshit, you know what I mean, just to get some likes, you know what I mean, for a moment, for right now, and not looking at your responsibility of your craft, you know what I mean?
You know, we always had them photographers, if you really think about it, from back in the day.
For sure.
But they wasn't the aspect of they were just regular photographers. They wasn't posting on just on the gram just to post, you know what I'm saying, just for some likes or some clout. They was them photographers that just only took studio photography just for family members, you know. And then the photographers that we look up to, they look at them like, okay, yeah, I feel you, but it's not as...
Which
it's in a sense, it do, but not the history aspect of it, like you being, oh damn, he's known for X, Y, and Z. If you know, do you know who Polo Poo is? Polo is he was a photographer in New Orleans that documented all like the hot boy 80s, 90s, and early 2000 era of like the background, the backdrops and shit, and he took it with Polaroids, like, you know what I'm saying, and that's the South.
His work,
you know what I'm saying, and you could kind of respect that, and then not kind of, but you gotta respect it because now he's getting his credit, and it goes back into it's a marathon.
Nah, it is. That's why I say, like, you don't. Now matters, man.
Yeah,
and
it's deeper than rap.
It is very deeper than rap, man. Now matters because, like, you don't know the picture that you take today is gonna mean so much to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10, 20 years from now, man. It's gonna really Oh, the lady just walked in, guys. What's going on, sweetheart? Hi. How you doing, sweetheart? But yeah, so essentially, to bring it around, man, the reason why the video collages and where it comes from is my mother and how she raised me, and the consciousness of being just a African American male in this country, and understanding where there's no way to understand where you're going unless you understand where you're from. Yeah. My collages are usually all based around African American women, such as like Eartha Kitt, Nina Simone, because that's what I found beauty in. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that era of, like, you know, I'm a jazz head. You know,
yeah, of course.
Head, but like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Eartha Kitt, Nina Simone, like these strong, elegant women, you know what I mean, are something that I don't want a part of history to forget. Yeah. You feel me? And I got a daughter, so these are the type of women that I want my daughter, you know what I mean, to look up to. Exactly.
Especially in this time as well.
100%, man. And the only way it's gonna stay a be the parent, which is why the video collages and the photo collages, is if people like me and like yourself and like other artists keep putting it out. Yeah. Only reason that it's gonna stop is if we stop it. You know what I mean? And that's why I say it's at this point in life, for myself as Hydreams, as Kiso as a brand, is bigger than us. You know what I mean? Like I've told clients that at this point in my life, the things that I want to put out is for the benefit or the forward movement of people of color and minorities, because everything else right now just don't seem to hit the same. You know what I mean? Like it don't really feel the spirit.
So talking about all that, you know, doing the collages and stuff like that, you know, us as black people as well in general. Let's talk about the protests. You know, I've seen some of your work that you took pictures of during the protest. Yeah. Let's talk about that, and how was that experience like?
Man, the protest was pretty wild. Honestly, because I will say that the first time I saw the George Floyd murder, it really didn't affect me that much. I woke up in that bed in there. I looked at it, saw the first half, was like, damn, they killed another nigga today. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until 2-3, honestly, about 2 weeks later, that it really. I saw something on CNN about a 17-year-old kid who pretty much said the same thing that I did, which says that we are dehumanized to the scene because it's so much, it's so many names, but how we shouldn't
to this day, every day.
But how we shouldn't be, it shouldn't be okay. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be the norm. And I never thought, like Candace will tell you, I never thought about change, man. I was raised to a certain extent being a black man from the South. You stay out.
It hit different.
Yeah, you stay out of the way, man. You stay out of the way. Like I'm not. This system was not built for me to win in general, so I'm gonna keep living outside of it. And there's no, like, this is just what it is. I'm gonna get pulled over. I'm gonna feel like I'm about to get fucked up, and that's the way life is in America. Yeah. But it really wasn't until, like, I mean, I said I watched the city burn, man. Like literally firsthand, and it was watching the people understand that they have the power. You know what I mean? And that.
Because it got, by them having that power, it kind of like made them like be on the edges.
Bro, like, you know, stuck in the house, man. You got people stuck in the house You got people stuck in the house. You got people broke. You got like life changed too fast, and on top of that, you gon' like they killed George Floyd. They killed the brother at the Wendy's. Like Breonna Taylor arrested, like Killer Slave been arrested.
Back to back.
And it's like that's why me and Vinny talked about this the other day. It's like it's halftime right now. You know what I mean? Because the Rodney King shit really didn't go down to the verdict came out.
Let me tell you this. I read the Trick Daddy book, right? And he talked about, if you're from Miami, you know this story, the McDuffie riots. We had the riots in 1979, 80, around that. This was before 92.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, y'all had the Watts riot the same year we had our riots in 68.
68, after
in
King.
68, 69. And the Miami, it's like an untold history. Y'all will be able to tell y'all history. Yeah. Right now, we're starting to tell our history in the Miami aspect of the riots. And McDuffie was I believe he was like a lawyer. I'm paraphrasing on top of my head. And he was on 79th Street in his motorcycle, and police caught up to him. And once the police officer was catching up to him, he just kind of speed. And then once he, kind of stopped, I think the police officer hit him, and then they bashed him with the batons and shit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So I'm from Liberty City. This was 80, like 1980, because it was 4 police officers, right?
Yeah.
And they knew that they can't have the trial in Miami, because knowing how Miami is, if we see some fuck up shit, we gonna attack, and that's what ended up happening. Mm-hmm. So they moved the trial to Tampa, and when they moved to Tampa, they was found not guilty. So once we heard that on the radio, Trick Daddy said he was in Overtown, I think, and then somewhere in Liberty City in Poker Beans in the backside, he was like, "Yo, I haven't seen so much chaos in my life." Like, he even talked about like the start of the day, like not start of the day, like the start of like that evening, and how he was talking to an old man, and he was talking about like back in the days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Growing up in the South,
exactly.
like that. And next thing you notice, he was talking about how like next thing you know, you just hear somebody coming to the neighborhood like running for air, telling him what happened. Yo, I just seen such and such and such kill a white man because of, because of the whole verdict. No, it wasn't that. It was a verdict. He was running to the neighborhood. He was like telling him, yo, they got found not guilty. And as soon as that moment hit, the whole Liberty City hit rum. And to this day, I'm from Liberty City. To this day, and from Liberty City, from Overtown, and some parts of Alapata, since that day, the city hasn't been the same. The black culture been like, it's a lot of abandoned buildings and all that. Yeah. So when it comes down to that, when you say halftime, I definitely understand that, because it's moments and time again.
It's
and all that.
We just have unprecedented territory, man. Like, which is why I talked to my grandmother just about going through other presidents and politics, because
and this moment hit different because we were their age, but in our generation.
100%. And also we got technology, man. You can't just tell us anything. Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like the revolution might have died, you know what I mean, back in the 60s and the 70s, because after, a lot of people don't know, they labeled the Black Panther Party a terrorist organization. Yeah. And essentially the Black Panther Party had the same defining principles that we are still acting for today. Very simple shit. Equal work for equal pay. Not livable housing. Not even this livable housing. Food for our kids, you know what I mean? Rights. Like civil rights, basic shit. And none of these needs got met, but we got, like I said, the party got labeled a terrorist organization by J. Edgar Hoover. That's like somebody labeling us Al Qaeda, and we and it's not true at all. But fuck it. All. Yeah, so it's like moving forward is really a confusion that we're in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I will say, you said that happened in the 80s, right? 1980. I will say that same time. 1981 was the last recorded lynching in America in Mobile, Alabama. My dad graduated high school that year, Michael Donald, and he got the Klan lynched this 17-year-old kid for looking at a white girl. And that is actually, from what I've been told, is like I said, the last recorded lynching. You know what I mean? That was in 1981. Not much has changed since then. You know what I mean?
You know what's so crazy? When I got here in LA, I was flying American Airlines, and I was watching the what's that Michael B. Jordan movie with him and Jamie Foxx? and
Mercy.
Mercy.
Yeah.
I ain't finished it through because I just arrived at LA, but I couldn't even like the fact that like even though I was halfway in, I was like, damn, the way they treat us.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? In the South. As a whole, it still goes to the same thing, but it hit different when it's in the South because it's like, if you get pulled over, it just hit different. You got a whole bunch of dark ass woods, and you don't know what the fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when Queen and Slim came out, I was just like, yo, that's bold.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? For that to be like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a plot twist to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. But yeah, man, it's a history in time. It's a history in time that us as photographers, videographers, creatives, musicians in the game, like y'all gotta understand even the quarantine during that whole time. It's just like
still in quarantine. LA still shut down.
In a way, yeah. During quarantine, we get to create the things that we wanted to create that we didn't really have time for due to day-to-day lives and dealing with life. So it's just like this is a moment in time that we get to create for our future. So when we'll be able to tell them stories like OGs that we look up to.
Yeah.
And it gets deep in the rap.
It do because like we was talking about earlier, each moment like henceforth will never be the same. You know what I mean? Like everything that I thought was just like, oh, I'm just taking photos for the night. Yeah. That shit hit different now, and it's history. It's literally history. I think musicians, I think photographers, I think videographers all have a responsibility to some extent to represent the moment that we are in at time. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's gonna matter, man. You're gonna be 55. The consumers can't do, but the consumers want. Like I told Vinny the other day, man. It's certain. We was just talking about, bro. You could put on How Fly and remember the moment you heard it for the first time.
Yeah,
and it's like certain thing. Photos can do that to you. You know what I mean? But like certain, bro. Everything can't do that to you. You know what I mean? Like everything can't literally take you back to the exact moment, second. You know what I mean? And that's the power. That's the power of art, and that's where that's why I say now is so important. Yeah. You feel me? Because you gonna want. I know for me, I want my daughter to look back and read the history books and be like, "Wait, Daddy, where you was at?" It was like,
I was there.
I was right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it ain't gonna be a question where I stood apart from myself as a creative. You know what I mean? In the big sense of like the people. You know what I mean? And that's just. Shout out to my moms. That's how I was raised. You know what I mean?
So I got last few questions for you. Sure. This is gonna be an interesting question right here. All right. I tell all my photography, videography homies this. I always ask them this: film or digital, and why? I already know the answer, but we want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Film, man. Film all day, man. Of course, film, man. Film all day because. Unlike digital, I'm still falling more and more in love with film photography. I got like a new medium format FlexiRed camera that only like 7 photos came out, but I'm happy with them. You know what I mean? And it's just a different texture. The camera I got came out in the 30s in like Czechoslovakia or whatever it is, and it still worked. You know what I mean? And it's just authentic, man. It's pure. It's like it's like you would say. Streaming or vinyl, you know what I mean? Like CDs or vinyl. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and we talked about that with Vinny the other day. Yeah, like literally, like
it's like it's easy. You just get on your phone and put a CD in, but man, to me that vinyl hit different, man. Yeah. Like the mistakes,
analog in general.
Exactly, it's the mistakes. Honestly, like it's the mistakes and the impurities in it that makes it so pure in film.
That and it's like the anticipation.
Oh yeah, tattoo. Like low key.
Film, you gotta take it to get developed. Yeah, you know what the fuck it look like.
You need to hurry up and do it. Hurry up! I don't care about anybody do it for me.
You can't drive home from the store with the vinyl. Yeah, you gotta get home. Yeah, everybody go to somebody's house. We got the record and just sit down that bitch and like.
It separates. It separates. That's the thing about it too. I like when I first got my first record player. I realized. Why I like vinyl so much is because unlike trying to do something creative, I'm gonna sit down and write, but I'm gonna play music off my phone. I'm gonna play music off the computer. There's 1,000 different distractions from you on that. Yeah.
vinyl and like film photography, it takes creativity and makes it a singular moment. You know what I mean? It lets you be that completely like you put a vinyl on, you're not going to change that motherfucker till that shit's time to flip it over again.
Exactly. Or if you want to go back to a verse, you got to
exactly. It's time. And so I fuck with film and I fuck with vinyl because it really keeps you in your moments. You know what I mean? Like before technology existed, like if you just had these two things, that's how you rocking. Exactly. That's how you rocking.
Influence your judgment on it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Back then, it's like, oh, I don't know, you gotta hear that bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's like Twitter, like you ain't even heard the record yet. Niggas like, oh, this shit trash, bro. Don't even waste your time buying this shit. People actually listen to those influences, and it's like they'll end up not buying the record or not, calling that videographer to work or something because it's like everybody opinions got more impact.
Yeah. Versus like technology just overshadowed it. So last question, man. Any advice to the people that want to go to the similar path that you did in the past, or want to continue to do what they do as a whole?
Man, I would say the first thing and foremost is you gotta have faith in yourself, man. And you gotta, and even with the faith, you gotta jump. And that's something I tell my little brothers and my youngest is like, the only thing that differentiates me from anybody else is that I jumped, man. I jumped without any expectations. I could have dropped to my ass, you know what I mean? But I came out to the city and I'd have been back home a couple of times, but I never quit. And I attribute that to Nip. I attribute that to the people that came before me, because LA really is, it's a city of angels, but it's a city of broken dreams as well. But the thing about it is you got to learn how to maneuver in it. And I will say this shit wasn't given to me, it was taught to me. You know what I mean? Like I learned from people before me who I got to watch and come up, and I learned, man. Like I'm 28 years old. I moved to California when I was 20, and it's been a learning lesson every fucking day and every moment since. And I wouldn't trade for nothing else in the world, man. Honestly, bro. Like, but the deciding factor is you got to jump. You got to jump. You can't be hesitant. Fall back. Nah, you gotta jump, man. And that's what I will say is always a thing about myself. I don't give a fuck. If it makes sense, I'll jump, bro. You know what I mean? Like, the risk ain't really a factor when you know what you want.
Facts. So how can the people get in touch with you or get in contact with you?
You get in contact with me at Hydreams, HYDREAMS. Keep it simply organic.com. And Hydreams on Twitter. Also, you should check out Crumb TV Sunday review with Yaya Marin Coleman in Belize at 2 p.m. on Sundays.
That part,
man. Shout out to mom, shout out to my pops, and shout out to you, Aaron, bro. Honestly, bro.
Nah, it's all love. Nah, I appreciate you.
Like that ass, bro. It's one of my first interviews, man. I think me and Vinny did one like 2 years ago with UCLA for Dead Bird Radio. But I ain't know what to expect, kinfolk, and we family, bro. Appreciate it.
It's all love, man. I try to just. This is another platform for myself that I want to give people opportunities. I know how I feel to not get acknowledged. When you feel like you should get acknowledged, it's like one of them type of situations, real, recognize real. I've been using that this whole trip. I've been out here, and I've just been like, yo, I know how that shit feel when you put all your love into what you want to that you do, and it's like niggas ain't appreciating that shit. So, and I always been a fan of people. Like, damn, bro, you dope as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, damn, nigga, why you ain't getting no love? Nigga, I fuck with you. You feel me? So I just been always that type of person. The fact that, me and Rod, created this platform, not just for us, but just for everybody, just to let them know, like, yo, you appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? That's all that really matters. Let you know, your appreciation. I don't give a damn. You got, like, goddamn 20 views on your shit.
Nah, that's real.
I really fuck with you. If I feel like if I fuck with you, I'm gonna fuck with you, bro. Like, it's like even when these little jits be like, yo, bro, Aaron, like, I really fuck with you. I'm like, yo, word, nigga, come on, bro. I got you. I'll teach you some shit. You feel me? So that's just what it is. And but yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming to the show, man. This is episode 35, and
for sure,
and I really appreciate it again. You know what I'm saying?
It was been real,
so,
man. FGO, man.
Right now we gonna get Vinny,
sir.
Vinny Virgo in the house right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we gonna take an intermission to the next episode. So I see y'all next week. in the house. You feel me? We in the same shit. You heard me? That part.